Respond to this example of media bias and more prominent. He's a criminal defense attorney, advocate for Israel. Benjamin Brafman is with us. Good to see you. How are you?
Thank you. I'm fine, and thank you for what you've been doing for Israel.
It's the right thing to do. What would America do if 3 American kids were kidnapped and slaughtered? 1,000 rockets were being fired into, let's see, California, Texas, New York, D.C., North Dakota. What would America do? 1,000 rockets, but for the Iron Dome. What would we do?
I think we would use all of our military might without any restraint whatsoever, and we would put an end one way or another to the rocket fire. And I think one of the biggest tragedies of this recent conflict is, with the exception of Fox News, mainstream media is helping Hamas perpetrate an enormous fraud with the intellectual dishonesty that's been used and how this story has been reported.
That report, they didn't mention Hamas, a terror organization, once in that segment. How do you talk about this honestly and truthfully and inform your viewers if you don't even mention what this group is about, what their charter says?
Well, it's more than only what their charter says. Their charter says they want to destroy Israel.
That's correct.
But what they are doing, and which the world seems to ignore with the exception of you, is the fact that they're putting civilians into rocket launcher sites. And then when the rocket launcher sites are being destroyed, as is Israel's right, Israel's being blamed for killing civilians. If Israel wanted to kill civilians in Gaza, we could have killed 1 million by now because we have the military superiority. We are showing restraint, but Israel is under attack, and but for the Iron Dome and the grace of God, you could have tens of thousands of casualties in Israel.
What I am afraid of, and I want you to speak to, is that we know that proxy wars are being fought by Iran. They say they want to wipe Israel off the map, and they've said it many, many times, their leaders. I take them at their word. But for the Iron Dome, you're right, how many would be hurt? How deep is this anti-Israeli strain that is out there in the radical Islamic world?
I think since Nazi Germany, I haven't seen anything this frightening. And I think it's as deep as you can possibly imagine, and then it goes deeper. And I think it's spreading to Europe, and I think part of the criticism of Israel is basic raw anti-Semitism, because you can't be that stupid not to understand what's happening here. They have a terror organization that is essentially a bad organization dedicated to killing people, and Israel has been portrayed by the mainstream media as the villain. This is intellectual dishonesty like I've never seen it in the mainstream media.
What do you think of the fact that our government, the United States government, gives money to that coalition, Palestinian Authority and Hamas government?
Well, we unfortunately have a history of giving money to organizations and countries that then turn around and use those weapons against us. But there should be not a single penny going to the Palestinian Authority from this day forward if, in fact, they're sharing that money with a terrorist organization. It's illegal. It's immoral, and it should be stopped. And I think what this administration needs to do is really step up and say, look, you know, Hamas is firing rockets into Israel. They are trying to kill as many Israelis as possible. They so far, thank God, have not succeeded, but they need to be stopped. And if this were happening in New York, if people in New Jersey were firing rockets into Midtown and it continued, there would be no more New Jersey. The military, the National Guard, the SWAT teams would go in there and they would wipe them out, and they would not give a damn how many civilian casualties they had to encounter if they had to take out the rocket launchers.
2/3 of Israel's population has been in a bomb shelter in the last week. You raise a good point. What would happen if it happened here in America? What do you say to President Obama? What do you think of how he's handled this or hasn't handled this?
I think he hasn't handled it, because I think the United States that I love and admire and have lived in my whole life has always been the leader of the free world. And Israel is its only ally and its only democracy in that region. We lose Israel, we're alone out there. And I think the President of the United States should step up and say exactly what I just said. There's no downside to saying it, because it's true, it's honest, and it just takes a little bit of guts.
I've said this, I'll say it again. It seems that the only adult on the world stage today that has moral clarity is the Prime Minister of Israel, and that's Bibi Netanyahu. The only adult, bar none.
I agree.
And he needs support. And frankly, it's embarrassing that we'd give any money to this Hamas coalition government.
And we're very fortunate to have a prime minister in Israel who is articulate, is eloquent, and is strong. And I think the statement he made the other day really hit the nail on the head. The difference between Israel and Hamas is we use missiles to protect our civilian population. They are using the civilian population to protect their missiles.
All right, good to see you. Benjamin, thank you so much.
Thank you very much.